Welcome back to the 1090 podcast. I'm here with Brandy Smith and her sister, her younger sister, Amanda. They just asked me who was older, and I'm like, you can't ask me that. I can't answer that. We have a brutal, terrible story to talk about today, but the sisterly love that you two brought in today, like the joy and the laughter and the smiling, like, wow, like, no, it's going to be weird, I think, because it's such a dark, heavy thing. But like, you guys are so happy. Like, you guys are sisters, and it's great. And I love that for you. So, Amanda's here for some support.
Yeah.
And it's hard to talk. And sometimes you got to ask for help. And so, thanks for setting that example and showing up and trying to talk about it. Can we start with the obituary?
Yeah.
Okay. In loving memory, Riley Smith, August 21st, 2007 is when he was born, and then he died September 24th, 2024. So not even a year yet. Man.
9 months.
9 months. So, like, what do you do when you wake up?
I get out of bed.
Do you, though? Like, every
day.
day? You do?
Every day.
For how long? Like...
Like, since day one.
All right, I'm going to read this, and then,
Okay.
we'll get to that.
Okay.
You see, you were very... like, I get out of bed.
I get out of bed.
It's a goal. Like, there's something there. We'll get to it. Okay. Riley E. Smith was born to Chris and Brandy Smith on August 21st, 2007 in Orem, Utah. Riley returned to his loving Heavenly Father following a tragic accident on Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. To understand Riley, you must also know how close he was to his parents, Brandy and Chris. What does Chris think about you being on the podcast today?
He is very introverted, and there's no way he would do this.
But he supports you, though.
Yep, totally.
Chris, I love you, man. I'm sorry for what happened to Riley. When Riley was diagnosed with kidney cancer at 5.5 years old, it started an unbreakable, intense, and fierce bond between them all, especially with his mom. Their hearts became one, and they love each other so deeply. We quickly discovered what an incredibly truly special boy he was during and after Riley Rock's cancer. Sorry, I don't think I read that well. I'm trying. No matter the task required medically, Riley did what was asked of him. Often he was scared and wouldn't look his doctors in the eyes. But he did everything that was required to beat his cancer. It never returned. He had the best caregiver in the world, his mom. She learned that all that was needed to be his full-time nurse. She took detailed notes, asked a million questions, and loved and encouraged him every step of the way. She never left his side. His dad worked hard to provide for the family and helped constantly when he was home. Hunter helped him be a little boy by playing with Riley when he felt well. Throughout his treatments, Riley inspired so many and taught us essential life lessons. It was a special time in our community. All of Salem came together to support and love the Smith family. They truly beat cancer as a family, each having a vital role in helping him through. Their bonds were never the same. Every day was a gift. Riley grew up in Salem, Utah, where he attended school up through his junior year at Salem Hills High School. His favorite thing about high school were being part of the FFA, welding, and weight training, and all his friends. Riley played soccer, baseball, and basketball in his younger days. He was very athletic, but these sports were not his thing because Riley's heart was that of a true sportsman. He loved hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, and riding ATVs and dirt bikes. His happiness and joy came from being in the great outdoors and experiencing these things with his parents and brother Hunter. Riley had a passion for fishing and hunting that he learned from his dad. Riley loved learning, but did not always learn subjects at school. His passion for learning included watching YouTube videos to catch big fish, raise pheasants, and other valuable and exciting real-life skills that helped him live the best life. Riley excelled with this kind of education that supported his interests and hobbies, which he loved. Riley made plans and figured out how to make important things happen for him. Riley had a passion for living. He never stopped once. He was set on something he wanted. Once he completed it, it was on to the next thing. When you saw Rye, so you nickname Rye, when you saw Rye, you always saw Hunter with him. He and his brother Hunter have always been joined at the hip, and they are best friends. One was never without the other. Riley and his family have always lived life large, not with things that money can buy, but with love and each other. Riley and his brother Hunter have always accompanied their parents on date nights because date night for Chris and Brandy is considered family date night, and they always took Riley and Hunter along with them. This is a family that has always prioritized and treasured each other. No matter how much time they share as a family, it has never been enough to capture all their love and connection truly. In 2023, on a beautiful and peaceful afternoon, their family was sealed for time and all eternity in the Payson Temple. This solidified their family and will bring great peace in the hard times to come. The tight-knit family of four usually ended up being a family much bigger than that, depending on which friends were around that day. But he quickly adopted Riley's best friend, Jackson Taylor, and became a family of five. They always have room for anyone else, so their family is ever growing. Man, I love this so much. Do you ever find, like, I get this all the time because, like, I cherish my family. Like, I love, like, I didn't take them for granted. Mm-mm. They were number one on the list. Mm-hmm. And then they die, and so it's just, like, I feel like a lot of the life lessons that, like, I guess Hollywood movies kind of portray and, like, this idea of grieving, like, I was doing, man. Like, I was doing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, just reading this, you might have some of the same anger. Riley was known to be quiet, reserved, and shy in public, but his true and happiest personality shone through when he got out in nature. The camping trips were a fun and special time for Riley and everyone. Riley loved visiting Blanding, Utah to spend time with his grandparents, Don and Joanne Smith, aunts, uncles, and cousins. His grandpa Don loved to take Riley and Hunter on true educational and exploration tours where he showed and taught them about mines, dinosaur bones, ancient artifacts, Indian sites, and many other interesting things. Blanding is a special place for the Smith family. One of Riley's favorite spots is Recapture Reservoir, where he caught his first trophy pike just last year. He also loved hunting in the La Salle Mountains. Wow, I'm cooking today. And the areas around Blanding. His goal this year was 140 or bigger buck. Riley loved camping with his parents and grandparents, Cindy and Scott Larson, and other extended family members. They always had so much fun together, whether riding and hitting trails or hanging out by the campfire. He especially loved being with them at Fish Lake, where he finally caught his trophy tiger muskie this summer. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? What did I just read? I'm not sure.
I don't even know.
The pike and the tiger muskie are...
So, sorry, is tiger muskie a type of fish? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all. I didn't know. See, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
See, I'm the type of guy where I fish. I feel bad for the fish. Like, oh, I got a hook in your jaw. I'm so sorry, man. Like, I didn't mean to. Like, I feel bad.
That's her.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. It's you.
Yeah.
All right, I lost my spot. Sorry, I'm loving this, by the way. I feel like I know who I'm learning about Riley. This is why I love obituaries. Riley was able to enjoy traveling during his 17 years. Family trips to Florida, California, cruising twice in the Caribbean, Yellowstone, and Hawaii are some highlights. If he was by the ocean, you could bet that he had to go deep sea fishing too. But he was also content just to fish at Salem Pond or anywhere he could drop a line. Riley has worked for the Salem City Recreation Department and TKB Plumbing, and he loved his job cleaning horse stalls. He found joy in cleaning out stalls because it allowed him to build a special bond with the horses, making each day at work feel rewarding for him. This simple task made him genuinely happy as he knew each horse and would tell others all about them. He would come home smelling of manure, but with the biggest smile on his face. He was consistently a hard worker. Riley wanted to learn and train to be an electrician. If you know Riley, you know his radiating light, infectious smile, and kind personality. He was loyal and highly faithful. He cared about people in quite a unique and personal way. He formed connections with people no matter where they were. Riley loved many things, and here are just a few: hanging out with his cousins, hunting turkey, deer, elk, and pheasants with his dad and Hunter, fishing, dirt bikes, trucks, and his mom. His friend Jackson Taylor, cowboy boots, and hey dude shoes. Raising pheasants, being involved with FFA, and his mom. As you can tell from what he loves, Riley has a very special relationship with his mom. His parents, brother, family, and friends loved and adored him. Riley fulfilled everything he wanted to do, everything he needed, and everything he was meant to do here on earth. His goodness was so profound that he leaves us a legacy of kindness and love. That was beautiful.
Thanks.
It's going to be a brutal episode, and music is in. Life's 10% what happens to you and 90% what you're going to do about it. Where do you want to start with so it's weird, the cancer thing, but that's not what took his life. It was something completely different.
Yeah.
I feel like I love that obituary. I feel like, because you want to talk, I want to talk about the dead people on the podcast. That's one of the things I want it to be about, is honoring them and talking about them. And so I'll show pictures of them when we post about the story and just trying to include them. And I think that obituary is who wrote that?
I wrote a lot of it, and then I was preparing to write the talk for the funeral because I spoke at the funeral, and I couldn't separate the two and get out of my head. So I had two friends help as well.
Yeah.
And they kind of helped me piece it together. And then in the end, I ended up like, oh, I don't like this. So I'm going to throw this out. I'm going to add this. I'm going to do this, So I kind of switched it up a little bit.
But, yeah, well, I feel like I know Riley a little bit now. And so, yeah, I think it was well done.
Thanks.
But where do we start, do you think?
I would say let's just start with his cancer.
Okay.
Let's
5.5.
5.5. Yeah. His brother's 7. And we were just noticing, like, his belly was getting big. And we're like, okay, lots of kids have pot bellies, especially little.
Yeah.
And it started getting a little bit hard. And I was like, what's going on? And so in March of 2013, I took him into the doctor. And I was like, I'm a little concerned. He's not using the bathroom a lot. His belly's getting hard. Like, what do you think's going on? He says, well, let's get an x-ray. So we get the x-ray, and you can tell his bowels are full. And he's like, holy cow. Yeah. Like, he needs to be on Miralax for like the whole month, like big doses. Like, his belly is just full.
On Miralax? Or what'd you
So
say?
Miralax you mix with water and it helps him go to the bathroom.
That just helps with...
Yeah, helps flush him out.
Okay.
And so I looked at the scan. I looked at the x-ray scan. And I actually saw the cancer. I saw it. But I didn't say anything because I was like, okay, there was an x-ray tech. There's a radiologist. This is my doctor. Why did nobody say anything about this spot that I'm looking at? So I just thought, well, I don't know anything about x-rays. It's fine. So almost a month goes by, and on a Sunday evening, we're having a family party, and my sister Amanda was going to nursing school, and she had a boyfriend, And I said that was also doing medical. And I said to them, look at Riley. Like, will you feel his belly? It just feels like really hard. Like, and so they just kind of like were assessing him, and they're like, you got to get him to the doctor. Like, he is so full. Like it is so hard. If it is his bowels are going to burst. Like in the AM, get him to the doctor. So I called the doctor the next day. We went in and talked to him. The doctor was kind of doing an exam, and he's like, this is really weird. I can't feel where his liver is. We're like, what? And he's like, I want a CT. Like, let's do it. Let's do an x-ray and let's do a CT. So we go to the hospital that's next door and get down there, and they do them. And the tech is the guy that I know, not personally a lot, but I know him. And I can see doctors and nurses running into this room. And I was like, that's not about us. And we just sat there for quite a while. And I'm like, what? So the tech comes back out, and I'm like, buddy, like, what's going on? And he's like, we need you to go back to your doctor's office right now. And I was like, tell me what's going on. Like, you're scaring me. And he goes, I can't tell you. I'm a tech. Like, I can't tell you, but I can tell you they found something and you need to go to your doctor's office now. So like, I have this 5.5-year-old who's just messing around, and I'm like, come on, bud, we got to go. And so we get back up to the doctor's office and sit down, and the doctor walks in, and he's like, so we found something on his kidney. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I've already called Primary Children's. You have an appointment at 7 a.m. tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, is this bad? And he's like, it's bad. And a nurse popped her head in the door and said, hey, doctor, oncology's at Primary is on the phone. And he's like, hey, hold on one sec. And so he goes to go out the door, and I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, oncology? And I said, is this cancer? And he looked at me and he just nodded his head, yes. Like, he couldn't even say it. And I was like, what? So I'm like trying to call my husband, and I just start freaking out in my head, and my husband's not answering the phone. I can't get a hold of him. And Rye's over here just playing with the toys or whatever's in the office. And I am just like, and so the doctor comes back in, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how bad is this? I don't know what's happening. And he's like, come in the other room with me so we can talk. I'll have the nurse, be with Rye. So we go in the other room, and he's like, listen, this is on his kidney, and it's big, and it's bad. And he's like, there's two kinds of tumor this could be. And he's like, one is neuroblastoma and one is Wilms tumor. And I'm like trying to write it down on my phone or whatever. And he's like, don't write this down. He's like, do not go.
And you're just going to Google it and not sleep ever again.
Yep. And go on the internet, and now he's dying.
Yeah.
And so the next day at 7 a.m. we get to Primaries, and it was a full day. We did not leave till 4:30. They rescanned him. We talked to, I don't know how many doctors, surgeons, nephrology, oncology. I mean, so many people. And that was a Monday. Tuesday, we went back up for blood draws, talked to another team of doctors. This time it was all the surgeons, how they were going to get this out, what they were going to do, if it's this type of cancer, if it's this stage, if it's all these things. And then Wednesday we had surgery. Like, it was fast. And it had consumed his right kidney, and it was a 6-pound tumor.
6-pound tumor for a 5.5-year-old. Like, how much do 5.5-year-olds weigh to begin with?
Yeah. My friend at the time was pregnant and almost due with a baby, and she was 9 months pregnant with a 6-pound baby.
Right.
So it had pushed his liver into his back, and it had pushed all of his bowels all over to the side. And it was just sitting over here on the right side, and it just kept growing. And so that's why his belly was so hard. And so, like, on Monday when we left my doctor's office, he said, no trampolines, no roughhousing, no fighting, no messing around. Like, this cannot burst. And I'm like, burst? This is so crazy. So the tumor was big enough that they put a 7-inch ruler on it, and it went over to about 9 inches in length. Like, it is a mass, like this big. It's huge. So they said, if we can get in there and get it out and have it not burst, you'll have different staging. So they cut him from his belly button down and then all the way to almost the middle of his back to try to get it out whole, which they did. And that was huge. So it was a 6-hour surgery. That was probably the most devastating thing I've ever been through. Like, he was freaking out. He was so nervous. It was like, I remember walking him down the hall he's supposed to be on the bed going in for surgery, and he's just flipping out. And I'm just holding him with his blankie, and he's just bawling. And we get to the end of the road or the hall where the doors open, and there's this painted line on the ground, and parents can't cross it type deal. And I remember handing him off to the doctors, and he's just kicking and screaming. And they took his blanket with him for comfort because it was his blankie. And I could hear him after the doors closed, just screaming. And I just fell to the floor. Like, I just bawled my eyes out. Like, I just sent my 5.5-year-old to go have a major surgery.
Could die.
Totally. So if it was wrapped around his aorta, if it was wrapped around certain things, if it was too big, if it burst, if it, so many worries, so many what ifs, so many things.
What was the communication like to Riley taking him in? Like, hey, you're going to get a...
We told him that there was just a cancer bug in him that is making him not feel good, and that we have to get it out. Like, he was so little, there was no understanding, we were just like, buddy, like, we have to go back to the doctor because you know how you don't feel good. So a couple of days before this, we didn't know. We went up the canyon, just the 4 of us, and we roasted some hot dogs and just had a little family deal. And Hunter and Chris were like, we're going to go hike up here. And Riley was like, I want to go hike with them. And I knew he had been slowing down. He would be outside swinging, and he couldn't pump his legs anymore. And I would watch him just sit in the swing and just wait till it stopped. And then he would get energy and could swing again. And I'm like, what is wrong with him? So we're in the mountains. He's like, Mom, I want to go hike with them. And my first thought was, but you can't keep up with them. So I'm like, okay, I'll go with you. Let's go for the hike. And we didn't get very far. And he's like, Mom, I'm too tired. I got to turn around. I'm like, okay, I'll turn around with you. Let's go back and sit down and wait for them to go on their hike. And we sat down, and his first words were, Mom, I don't know what's wrong with me. How come I can't hike like Hunter can? And I was like, I don't know, bud. Maybe he's just faster. He's just a little bit older than you. Maybe he, when you get to be 7, you can hike like him. Like, I now I know all these things. You know, he couldn't sleep on his right side, so he would turn his back.
Yeah, everything, like all these
All the
things
stuff.
make sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had his preschool teacher come up to me in December and say, "Hey, he's not playing at recess. And when we're working, he lays his head down on the desk a lot." And I'm like, "Oh, well, you know, Christmas break was fun and we had a lot of fun. Maybe he's tired from coming back from Christmas break, you know, like several things." Anyway, so we're like, so that was motivation. I'm like, "Bud, you know how you want to hike with your brother? Like, let's get this sugar or this cancer bug out, you know?" I'm like, "And then you can have energy and you can do anything with your brother. Like, you'll be able to keep up with him." And so we just kind of tried to use things that he really wanted to do and say, "You'll be able to do these things once we get this out." He didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
So the cancer did come out whole. However, once they tested it, it was stage 3 and it was Wilms. Thank goodness. Neuroblastoma is very, very, very aggressive and
Yeah, we've had some
intense.
episodes where we've had that type of cancer, and I think all the stories, they died, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It's so, oh. So,
Well, I do have some questions, but I just wanted to let you keep going too. I'm not sure what to do sometimes, but it's like watching your kids suffer that much. Like, what does that do to a parent? Like, how'd that?
it breaks you.
Yeah, like I'm just
So,
curious, like, what that did to you as a person. Like,
so it was go time. I, I, it was about him and it was about Hunter. That's what it was about. It wasn't about me and it wasn't about Chris and it wasn't about us. It was about those two. And luckily, if I was with Ray, Chris was with Hunter and vice versa. And this is probably the most shocking and the hardest was, so it was stage 3, meaning that the tumor itself on the outside had cancer. So sometimes cancer can be consumed into a tumor and not on the outside. So you can remove a tumor and know it's contained. This, anything the tumor touched had cells of cancer. So that meant more chemo, more radiation. So the type of chemo that Riley had to have is, or at least then in 2013, was the type of chemo that they give breast cancer women, adults. So
so is it,
my 5.5-year-old 40-pounder is getting chemo that an adult woman with breast cancer takes.
so it's painful.
Extremely
It's 10 out of 10 on the pain scale.
awful. It's
And is it
they
is it is it just 24 hours a day, or is there any let up, or is it just
they're
this constant?
no. So so he got out of surgery. We spent 6 days in the hospital. There was a little tiny bit of tumor on his intestine that they had to remove on the outside. So he couldn't eat for 5 days. He couldn't eat or drink for 5 days. So he came home on a Monday. We had 1 week for him to rest. And that next Monday, we started chemo and radiation, both. He had radiation for 6 days straight. And then he had chemo every Monday for 6 months. And so we would go on a Monday, and then it wrecked him until Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, he would get feeling a little bit better. Saturday, we could do a little bit more around the house. Sunday, we could go up to the canyon and do a little bit. Monday, we're back at it. So they give a couple of weeks where to get used to 2 of the drugs. And then, so this started in April. So April 1st was his diagnosed date. And May, I think it was the middle of May, they started the 3rd drug. And the 3rd drug is called the Red Devil.
Oh, I've heard of. this. Yeah.
You've heard of that. Yeah.
What?
Oh, it was Logan.
Was it
and
the
Sierra,
baby?
Logan, Sierra, Raven. Yeah.
Yeah, we had this couple on. They had to hold their baby down and
It's awful.
Sad.
torture their own baby, basically.
It's awful.
They had to put gloves on
Oh, yeah.
because it can't touch your
No.
skin.
Nope. Mm-mm. No. I would hold him in my lap and they'd say, Mom, gown up, put your mask on while we even administer this. And I'm like, I'm not gowning up. This is my son. He's going to sit on my lap. If you want me to put a mask on, I will. I'm fine with that. But I'm going to hold him
Yeah.
and you're going to give him the medicine. And I'm not doing that. Like, so he got a fourth of the red devil that he can have in his lifetime. So you can only
You don't
have a
have
certain
so much.
amount of that or it will kill you.
Remind me, why do they call it that again? Is it because of the sweating, or why do they
'Cause
call it the red devil?
it's
it
red.
turns your skin red.
The
or-
drug
it's
is
just
red,
Oh,
and then you pee like it looks like blood when you pee.
okay.
Yeah, but because it's so brutal, it's the devil, legit. So by June, July, he was sick. I mean, sick. Amanda lived with me. She was going to nursing school. It was hard. I was in it, so I didn't see the changes in him because you live it every day. And I remember my other sister coming over, and she was devastated. And she eventually texted me and said, "I can't do this. I cannot see him like this. It is killing me. Like, he is so sick." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's my son. It's your nephew. Like, I have to live this." And she's like, "He's so sick." And at the time I was like, I know he's sick, but I look back on the pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, he was sick. So I remember in about July, end of July, and no, it was the end of June, and he hadn't lost all of his hair yet, which was very surprising. He was losing it at a lot. And I remember praying and saying, "Heavenly Father, I can't do this. It's like a dog shedding. Everywhere he lays on my chest, hair, his pillow, his blankets, the couch, everywhere, just hair." And I remember just being like, "Please take his hair." And one morning I woke up and he ran into the bathroom and he turns the lights on and he goes, "Yes." And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I just told Heavenly Father, please don't take my hair. And every morning I run in there and I still have hair." And that was the moment that I realized it's not about me. I'll vacuum up hair all day long. It's not about me. If he needs his hair through this, then dang it, he better keep his hair.
That is so funny.
It was so cute. It was so cute.
And like, man, kids are the best. Like, here we are, we're just suffering, just listening to this story. It's just awful. And here he is, just, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, kids are the best, man. I don't know when exactly we mess them up.
I know.
Or maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's
Yeah.
puberty
Yeah.
when they want to have sex with people. I don't know what it
I
is.
don't know.
But like kids, man, like
Well-
they're resilient. Like, I don't know if it's because they just don't know any better, different. Like, I don't know a life without cancer. Like,
Yeah.
this is my life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe it's their lack of ability to care what other people think.
Probably.
So they have no idea that most kids don't have cancer. Like, he just,
Yeah.
I don't know, but like
Yeah.
kids, man, are the best, man.
So he would be sick. He'd be so sick and throwing up and Thursday, Friday, throwing up. And mind you, Hunter, a little 7-year-old, would carry his puke bucket for him, and he would sit by him on the couch.
That's so cute.
Like, I'd be like, "I need a shower, Hunter. I need you to watch your brother, please." And he'd be like, "Okay." And then I'd come out and he'd be like, Riley threw up. Here's the puke bucket. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, Hunter. It was so sweet.
So
But
sweet.
so he would throw up and I'm like, what's going on? And one day I'm vacuuming and I move the couch.
Oh no. His hidden throw up spot.
No,
Oh.
his hidden medicine.
His hidden.
What's the medicine for throw up?
Zofran?
Yeah. That you're supposed to put under your tongue and let dissolve.
Yeah.
I would walk away, he'd pop it out and throw it under the couch.
Wow, he's a rebel.
Totally.
Because he wanted to throw.
No, because he
What?
didn't want to take more medicine.
Yeah. Stick it to the man or woman. Good for you, Riley.
So this is where Riley, this is where he got really, really close to the Spirit. And I have to tell you, so, I mean, this kid is like so sick. And honestly, about July, I had it with everything, and I just said a prayer to Heavenly Father, and I was like, I need you to know that if you take my son, I will leave this church. I will leave you, and I will not come back. Like, I am not strong enough. I have faith, but if you take my son, I'm done. And I know at that time, if he would have taken my son, I would probably be a drunk somewhere, for sure. Like, and then I have him on the other hand, and he's so special and so kind, and he starts seeing angels. And we're like, what? And he's like, Mom, can't, like, just, we'll lay in bed at night. And he's like, Mom, look at all the angels around us. I'm like, what? We get I take him up to chemo on a Monday, and we're in the car driving, and he sits in the back, of course, and he's like, hey, Mom, we're going to be safe on our drive up. I'm like, oh, yeah? And he's like, yeah, because there's an angel sitting right next to you. What? We're in the bank. So he doesn't get a lot of
So this
exercise.
happened many times, like not just one time.
No. So to get him out of the house, because he just gets in ruts, we get out of the house every day. So whether it's a wagon ride, whether we walk to the mailbox, I had to go to the bank this one day. So I'm like, we are walking in the bank because you have to get some exercise. So we're walking in the bank. We walk in there and I'm talking to the teller, and he is just pulling on my shirt. And he's like, Mom. I'm like, what, bud? Hold on a sec. And he's like, no, Mom. I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, look at all the angels in the bank. They're with us. And we walk out of there, and I'm like, Fry. And jokingly now I say, well, the bank wasn't going to get robbed today. Like, he saw him everywhere. Everywhere. Grandma's house, aunt's house. I mean, everywhere. And we were, so his recovery was not quite a year. And then he, would go every 3 months for scans. Well, they found a spot on his liver, and we didn't know if it was cancer, but it was so invasive to go in and do a biopsy that the better thing for kids is to wait and see, because if it grows, then we know. So let's see, we had scans every 3 months for 2 years, and then 6 months for 5 years, and then once a year for 10 years.
Wow.
And every 3 months we would walk in and be like, does he have cancer in his liver or not? It's just a yes or a no. And we were in there, and it'd probably been about 3 years off treatment. And we're sitting there waiting in the waiting room for our scans. And he looks over at this girl, and she's this cute little blonde, and she's in a wheelchair. And he's like, Mom, what's her name? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know her. And he's like, no, Mom, we know her. Like, don't you know her mom? And I'm like, no, I've never seen them, bud. And he's like, but Mom, the girl with the blonde hair in the wheelchair, like, what happened to her? And I was like, son, I don't know. And he's like pressing me. And he's like, what's her name, Mom? We know her. Anyway, they call our name. We go back. We do our scans. And while I'm in there, I think I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna ask the mom. I'm gonna ask the name because obviously he knows her. Well, we come back out and they're gone. And I never seen him again. And we get home and we get talking and thinking. And I'm like, that little girl was maybe 3. And I'm like, and I says, right, when did you meet that girl? And he's like, when I was sick. Like, and we had a lot of stays at the hospital. So there's a lot of kids that we met and moms and in passing. And I'm like, you knew her at the hospital, like when you were sick in treatment? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, bud, like, she's like 3 years old. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, she wasn't even born yet when you were in treatment. And he's like, I think she was one of my angels.
Like he was able to put that together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was in there 3 years ago and my,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
And he recognized her as like now. So he got his compassion and his kindness from primaries. He wanted to know what was wrong with everybody. He wanted to know if they had a bald head, if they obviously had cancer, what kind. He wanted
So
to.
he was that way all the way up till he was 17, you'd say? Like
Mm-hmm.
this level of empathy.
Totally. He was a teenager. He was a teenager too, you know, in the last couple of years, but no, he would come home from school and he just would say, "Hey Mom, I met there was just this girl and she was just all alone. So I went and said hi." I'm like, "What's her name?" And he's like, and he'd tell me and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool. That was really nice of you." You know, like he had this heart that was so kind and he worried about everyone. But sometimes he wouldn't vocalize it, but he would come home and tell me. Or he always had a little bit of faith in everybody, no matter what you did or looked like. And so he'd come home from school and he'd say, "Mom, I met this kid in class." And I'd be like, "Oh, what's he like?" And he'd say, "Oh, he's this and this and this." And I'm like, "Is he a good kid?" And he's like, "Well, he might not be the best kid, but..." And then he'd always have something nice to say.
Mm.
Always. "Well, I think he might run with a rough crowd, but this is what he told me. And I think he's really nice, Mom." And I'm like, "Great. You be his friend." Like he had his brother and he had a best friend and he had us and that's what he needed. But on the outside, he loved everybody. And that came from cancer.
Yeah.
And I would say like the biggest thing that changed us was I remember before he had cancer, I would video and like we'd be out fishing and I would video like them reeling in their fish, but my focus would be on the fish. Like, how big is it? Da, 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 right?
But now it's like on their faces
Totally.
or on their, expression or whatever.
Yep. Like my mindset changed. And I remember someone asking me like, "What did this do to you in your home life?" And I was like, I developed this motto: the kids deserve the best of you, not the rest of you. And so the best of me was before dishes, before laundry, before yard work. Of course, we taught them how to clean and how to mow the lawn, how to do all the things, but that didn't matter. You can come to my house any time of the day and I will have dishes in my sink. Huh, Amanda?
Oh yeah.
I don't care. I don't care about the dishes. I have a clean home, but my laundry might not be done because if my son hollers, I'm running. What do you want to do? Yep, let's go do it. Like, changed everything.
But you don't have clean clothes to go do it in.
I don't care. I don't care. I'll throw on dirty ones.
No,
No.
yeah, that's the whole point. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel like, so you go through this whole thing
It was awful.
and then he dies, not the cancer? How
Cancer
do you,
didn't take him.
what do you, this is like the story of like the guy who goes to war on the front lines, gets back safely, dies, a taxi cab hits him, type of thing. Like,
Chris Kyle.
yeah. Is that a true story?
True story.
See, wow, I'm sure I just read that somewhere then. Like the unconscious brain, like, wow, like, okay. No, but like,
Yeah.
like when I heard your story and you explained it to me, I'm like, I just have to pick your brain with this. And maybe this is a good segue to lead into that day of when he died. But yeah, what is that like in your brain? What are those thoughts like?
I think would I do the cancer again? Yes.
Wait, what do you mean you would do the cancer again?
Meaning,
Like if you could go back.
if someone said, if we could go back, would you?
Okay.
Right.
I'm with you.
I would do it again. Would I put my son through that pain and that anguish and that treatment? No. But would I take that experience and what we did with it after? Absolutely. The number one thing that I will say through this and the way he died is we have no regrets. We have no regrets.
And you think that's because of the cancer, right? Like that mindset. Because like when you have that scare of like you might really lose them,
Yeah.
it does flip everything, and like you appreciate. Like I have this with Blue. Like we it's not like we do different things. It's not like with a family we played basketball, and now with just me and Blue we fish only. Like we do the same things,
Yeah.
but it just means the feeling of it, the moment of it, the emotion of it, the gratitude of it is way better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just comes with all the shit. It just comes with all the horrible.
Yeah.
I guess that's the gift of all the horrible
The
stuff.
bond.
Yeah.
It's the bonding. I became a nurse at home. He soon had to be on IVs at home, and I would have to switch him out. I'd have to give him pain meds at home. I slept by him every night to make sure he was okay, still breathing. And your whole heart, your whole world changes when you have that kind of love and compassion. Don't get me wrong, I loved my kids. This mama is Mama Bear from day one. Like my love for my kids, but through this, it changed us. It bonded us in a different way. So when this happened, I think it was something that got us to a point where we're still bonded. We're not falling apart as a family.
Yeah.
I honestly said to my husband, Chris, probably a week or two ago, I was like, this point in our grieving is probably where people split up because we're grieving so differently. And, but we're stronger than that. We've been through too much. Like, we'll figure this out. We'll work on this because we've done it before. Like, after Riley's cancer, me and Chris were lost. We were roommates because it wasn't about us. It was about the kids. So we had to go to therapy. We had to find each other again. We had to figure each other out. Like, we had to start back to dating. So I feel like it wasn't just our bonds with Riley. It was our bonds with every single one of us.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So fast forward, Riley, he liver never got cancer in it. So just fine. 10-year, we have our very last scan. We're like, yes, no more. We have our 11th year. And then last September is when he passed. So just so you know, like I have trauma brain.
What's that? And I'm just joking.
Yeah, you know.
I also have trauma brain. Can we talk about trauma brain? Actually,
Yeah, can we
what
talk
do you
about?
what do you mean by trauma?
Okay, what I mean is I have my phone with notes
Yeah.
because I can't remember crap.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, did I write that? Did I? Because I can't remember.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's terrible.
You can't remember, and then I smoke so much weed too
Oh, bless you.
that the overlap. Sometimes I don't know. Like I might be high or grieving. Obviously, it's both. But I don't know. But I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Probably not a good combo. But yeah, I just forget things, man. And I've forgotten podcasts. I've forgotten it is, and then I just feel awful because I just feel so awful. So I'm just hurting myself, just killing myself, just try to feel bad because I feel so awful for forgetting. How could I forget?
No, you can't do that.
And yeah, but yeah, the trauma brain, it's very foggy.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I still think I'm 30 sometimes. I still feel
Because that's when it
when you
happened.
ask me how old I was today, I'm I'm 34.
4.
And I was swimming with my wife's family yesterday, and her brother Chad and his wife Ellie have a baby who's 15 months old, Ellie. And I just had this moment looking at him when
What's
did
your
they
name?
have a baby?
Oh, not even what's your name?
When did I swear they just died. I swear I was just with them. And no, really, the brain is just really playing catch up a lot of the time. Anyway,
It's terrible.
enough of a tangent for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
the grief brain.
That
Where
you
are we
can't
going?
You can't retain anything. The fog,
Yeah, the grief fog.
and
I forget what I'm saying
Well,
mid sentence. I'm I forgot what we're talking about.
I counted. I looked over on my dresser. I have 14 books. Grief, trauma, religious, 14 books.
Yeah.
I maybe have gotten 20 pages in on most of them, and I reread.
Wow,
and
yeah.
reread, and
I don't reread. I just stop reading.
I can't
get
comprehend
20
anything.
pages there that I'm done. Yeah. And do you ever read and what have I been reading? I'll read a page and a half. I'm I don't know what I've been reading.
No, I just put it away.
Yeah, I can't.
No.
I have a really hard time watching movies, which is ironic because I love movies, but my brain, it's like reading a book. I'll be watching a movie. I'm what has been going on?
Yeah.
Or my brain will be I don't think about the movie anymore. I think about the scene. This scene must have been awkward to film. Imagine filming this. Imagine trying to act this out. He has to sing this. I'm just doing that the whole movie now. I don't know what that's about.
Well, what about just sitting there and you're watching TV and you just think and you think and you think and you think and someone comes in and they're like, "What are you doing?" And you're watching TV and they're like, "The TV's not even on."
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
How many times you done that?
Oh, yep. What's it about? I'm oh, I don't know.
It's nighttime right now.
I'm not kidding you. This is a true story. I went to a movie with my buddy Sam, and we saw the new Rocky movie, but it's not Rocky. It's Apollo.
Yeah.
What? Not Apollo. The Creed guy.
Creed.
And he fights the main guy at the end. The fight's over. And I lean over to my buddy. I'm like, who won the fight? I didn't know. And obviously I knew because it's a movie. So the good guy won the fight. But I didn't know. I had to ask. Not good. Not good. Driving. I will make wrong turns, missed turns. You've been driving the wrong direction for 30 minutes. That's a nightmare.
I'll go through stoplights and I know they were green, but I question myself.
Yeah,
were they
that
really
was green, right?
Please tell me that was green.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Okay, back. So you have grief fog, and we're trying to get to the day of.
Yeah. So 2024, April comes. My husband's dad falls. He's 79. He breaks his femur. So now we're in. They're from 4 or 5 hours away. He's up here in the hospital, in rehab. Anyways, from April to June 21st, he was up here. He ended up having kidney and heart failure and ended up dying.
Oh, man.
So this is Don, my husband's dad,
So this is right before.
right before Riley. Yep. And that was hard.
Yeah.
That was really, really hard. That was hard watching him suffer. That was hard going to the hospital and just that it, he was just another father to me.
Yeah.
And it was hard. So Chris loses his dad. The summer continues. Come July, around the 21st ish, Hunter or Riley finds this dirt bike, and we're a riding family. We always have been.
Yeah.
Always.
We love dirt bikes too.
Yeah. So he's upgrading. So Hunter has a beta. Riley wants a beta. Meet this guy, buy this beta. Awesome bike. Riley saved and saved and saved. Bought it himself. Bring it home. I didn't have any reservations. I was like, we've rode for a long time. He's a good rider. Not really worried about it.
He just needs a bigger bike.
Yeah,
This
just
is
needs a
part of
bigger
the-
bike. Yeah.
This is part
Yep.
of the routine.
Yep. So we went on several rides, several long rides. He rides around with his buds, like no big deal. Everything's great. He has a muzzleloader tag for a deer down at the LaSalle's on the 24th. And so on the 23rd, or sorry, on the 25th. So on the 23rd, we're getting ready to go down, and that was a Monday night. And I had the trailer packed, and Chris was in the garage. He was just loading heavy stuff, So let me back up just to July. So in July, I have this dream, and Riley passed. And I woke up, and I don't remember much about the dream, but I remember that Riley died. And it affected me, and I was nervous. I don't remember the details. I was like, that's a weird dream. I just kind of was like, I don't know what that was about. So, moving forward, like I ended up in August needing a shoulder surgery. And I was kind of worried about that. So I'm religious. So I'm praying, and I keep getting these promptings and these feelings, from my prayers, and Heavenly Father's telling me, just settle, because your life is changing. This is what I'm hearing. And I have really good intuition, and I have Riley's taught me some things about with the angels and connections and spiritual things. And so I'm a little bit closer to the spirit and receive, like, I don't know what you would call it, a little bit more revelation than some people. It's just kind of a gift, which is incredible. Anyway, in August, I have my surgery. And I'm praying, and I'm just like, hey, I'm a hairdresser. Is this shoulder going to be good? Am I going to be done with my job? What am I doing? And I get this feeling, just this, shh, your life's changing. And I'm like, I don't understand. So, the couple weeks go on, and the end of August is coming, and I had my surgery. It went really well. Spent time at the house with everybody because I was off work. I start praying again, and I'm like, hey, I'm going back to hair in November unless something changes, or, is this my path? Like, is my path changing? Same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what is changing? Is my job changing? Is my calling changing? I also work at a dentist office. I'm like,
there's lots of things.
Lots of things.
Changing.
Yeah. And the Saturday night before the 23rd, September 23rd, was a Monday. So Saturday night, I have this dream. And Riley died. And this time it was bigger. The way he died didn't matter. because that's not what it was. It needed to let me know that Riley died. And he's standing in front of me and I'm crying. And I said, Ry, I don't want you to go. And he said, I know. And I said, but I'll never see you again. And he said, I know, Mom, but I'll see you. And he said, this is my last hug to you. And he just embraced me and like tenderly and warm and beautiful and this incredible hug. And then I woke up and it was Sunday morning and I ran to his room and I thought he was dead. I mean, this dream was real. And I run to his room and I stopped because I was nervous. And I'm like, is he dead? And I slowly get closer and I'm like, okay, he's still breathing. He's alive. And I just stood there and watched him. I don't even know how long, like until it was weird. You know, I was like, I'm not leaving until it's weird.
Like, Mom, why are you standing there? I'm trying to sleep. How long you been standing there?
And so
Just crying over him.
I know, yeah. And so the day goes on and I think about it and I'm worried about it and I'm like, no, it's fine. And the next day I go to work at Cascade Dental where I work and because I work there Monday, Wednesday, and my boss is my friend and I go to her and I tell her this story and I'm just crying. Like it was intense. She's like, no, don't worry. Like you have so much trauma from your past.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, he's had cancer. You've been thinking he's dying your whole life. So
Yeah.
it sounds like if I'm just your friend and you're saying this to me, I think that's what my brain would do. Like, I'm sure, like, I can't imagine living with that thought all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it slips into your dreams.
You're on meds for anxiety.
Yeah, but
do you need to up them?
Yeah, but like, no, for you and watching you tell it, this was real.
This was
different. This wasn't like
the whole thing's different.
Yeah.
And knowing the promptings I've been getting for the last several months.
Yeah.
It felt different. And then Monday night I get home and this is where it starts. And I'm making taco soup and Ryan, the Hunter, both come in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, dinner in 5. Hunter sits down, he's starving. Riley looks at me, is like, what are we eating? And I'm like, taco soup. And he's a jokester and he's like, Mom, I'm not eating your stupid taco soup. And I was like, okay, buddy, then make yourself some dinner. And he's like, okay, just kidding. I'm going to eat your taco soup, but I'm going to go for a ride first. And I was like, okay. So we live by the mountain. You just go down the block, take a right, 2 blocks, stoplight, and then you're on your way to the mountain. Yeah. And this is a normal thing. The boys take off on their bikes all the time. They go ride the mountain. Can be 5 minutes, can be an hour. It doesn't matter. They circle around, come back. They're geared up. They're helmeted. They've got everything on. They're safe. We don't mess around with that. Even when it's just a little drive, it doesn't matter. You know, anything can happen. You put on your gear. You do it right. So I heard his dad say, hey, buddy, remember we're on the hunt tomorrow morning. Like, you be safe. He's like, I know, Dad. So he heads off. And about 5 minutes later, so this is about 6:50 in the evening. And Chris opens the door to the garage and he says, hey, hun, does Riley have his phone? And I'm like, yeah, he always has his phone. And he's like, well, I just tracked it on Find My Friend and it says it's here. He's here. I'm like, well, maybe he left it because he wasn't going to be gone long. He was like, oh, maybe. And I go, why are you asking? And he goes, well, I hear sirens. And I was like, oh. And I stopped for a minute and I heard the sirens and I'm like, he's fine. He's safe. We've ridden our whole lives. He's fine. I had nothing. I have the best intuition. I know when something is wrong. I know before my children call me what they want. I got nothing. And so just go about, and all of a sudden someone knocks on my door, and it's a friend from around the corner, and she hollers at Chris, "Hey, will you grab Brandy for me?" So I run out there. I don't have shoes on or anything. She says, "Brandy, go get your shoes and your phone, and we're going to go for a ride." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, come on, hop in my car. We're going to go for a ride." I'm like, "Taylor, where are we going?" And she's like, "I'm just going to, like, I'm going to take you." And she's got a smile. She's like upbeat. She's like, "Let's go." And I was like, "This is weird. Tell me what's going on." And her whole demeanor changed. And she looks at me. She's like, "I'm taking you to the hospital." And I looked at her and I said, "Riley." And she just nodded her head yes. And I took off running and I screamed at Chris and I said, "It's Riley, Chris." I threw on shoes. I grabbed my phone and I ran. I hopped in her car and I'm like, "Go." I said, "Where is he?" And she's like, "At the light." And I said, "Take me to him." And she said, "No, I'm taking you to the hospital." And I said, You are not. You are taking me to the road." I said, "Is he still there?" And she's like, "Yes, but it's bad." And I said, "I don't care how bad it is. You take me to the road." And we get to the stop sign to go right or left. And she's trying to go left. And I'm like pulling on the wheel. I'm like, "You take me to him." And they said, "Brandy, it's so bad. They told me not to bring you." And I said, "I don't care." I said, "I can do this." And she turned and she's driving slow. And I'm like, "Go faster, go faster." And she wasn't going fast enough. I'm like, "Go faster." And at one point, I jumped out of the car and I just ran. And I think it was like a block and a half. And I just ran. And I remember thinking, why do I have my flip-flops on? Like, I got to run faster. Like, I got to get there. I got to get there. And there's people on the sidewalk and they're trying to block me. And I'm like, "Get out of the way." And they're like, "No, no, no, no." And I meet at the corner and I can see all the lights and I can see the ambulance and I can see the EMS. And a friend of mine's in EMS and she met me at the corner and she's like, "Brandy, no." And I'm like, "You don't know me. I have to be there." And she's like, "I don't want you to do this." And I said, "I don't care." And I'm running around her and she's like, "Okay." And she let me by and I saw his bike that was mangled and I saw the ambulance and I saw the car and I saw him laying on the ground. And I ran and all the EMS were surrounding him and there was a guy standing there and I'm like, "What happened?" And he's like, "This car light was green, the sun was shining, he didn't see him, he turned in front of him." And I'm just like, "Oh my God." And I'm just like, and I just don't know what to do, but I'm like, I got to do something. And my personality is I can run to an accident and I can help. I don't freak out. I'm strong. And an EMS looked at me and said, "Mom, if you're going to be here, we need your help." And I'm like, "Okay." And she says, "Get down here by his head. He was conscious. He was talking. He's not anymore. And we need you to get him talking. And you just, however you can." And I get down there and I just kneel down and I put his little head in my knees. And I just kind of move his hair off of his forehead and he's just perfect. Nothing. And I'm like, "Buddy, Mom's here." I'm like, "Mom's right here." I'm like, "You gotta wake up. I need you to wake up." And I'm like, "You got people helping you, babe." I'm like, "We're working on you. You're doing so good." And I look over and I see his bike and I'm like, "Babe, you did a doozy on your bike, like, don't worry, we'll fix it. Like, come on, you gotta wake up for Mom. Like, Mom needs you. I need you. Like, you gotta wake up for Mom. I'm right here." And I'm kissing his forehead and I'm just like rubbing his face. And I look at his body and they have everything off but his underwear and his legs are in these splints and I can tell they're broke. And his wrist is wrapped. His left wrist is wrapped up and it's bleeding through. And his body has this like cover over it. And so I can't see very much of his chest or anything of the side. And I'm just pleading with him and begging him. I'm like, mom's right here, And I finally hear the chopper. Well, I heard the EMS say if that chopper doesn't get here fast, he's going to lose his arm. And I looked at his wrist and I was like, lose his arm. Like I can see his fingers. I can see his arm. I'm like, and then I hear the chopper and it lands and I'm like, bud, you gotta go for a helicopter ride. Like, come on, babe, you gotta wake up, And at this point, his blood pressure is, heart rate is pretty stable, to be honest, for everything. And one of the EMS says, we got to get him some oxygen. Mom, you got to go down to his legs. I got to put oxygen just on his mouth and start pushing. He wasn't intubated. So I run down to his legs and I kneel down and I just put my hands on his leg and they're just swelling. And I didn't know if I should rub him. And I'm just still trying to talk to him. And I'm like, babe, please just wake up for mom. Just show me your eyes. And I felt where like the upper part of his body was and it was cold. It was almost like this giant ice pack that they had put on him and strapped him in. And I didn't know what that was. And so my friend came and grabbed me and she's a nurse and she's like, Brandy, we gotta go. And I'm like, I'm not leaving him. She's like, if he's going on that chopper, we gotta beat him. And I said, I'm going with him. And they're like, he's an adult. Adults can't go on choppers. If he was a child, you could go, but it's a weight thing. They can only hold so much weight. And he's big and you can't fit in there. Like, it's not possible. And I was like, I'm not leaving him. And all of a sudden I saw Chris. I didn't know where he was this whole time. And Chris comes up to me and he's like, babe, go. I'll wait. I'll wait for him. And I will not leave him until he gets on that plane, on that chopper. And I started walking away and I couldn't. I ran back to him and I'm like, I'm not leaving him. And they're like, you gotta go. And so Chris is like, babe, please go. I got it. And I was like, okay, I trust you. I know you have him. And so I got in the car. Her husband drove. She got in the back with me. And my first thought was, why are you in the back seat with me? And we start driving and I lost my crap. Without her, I would have passed out. I could not breathe. I could not think. I could not focus. I was panicked. I was beside myself. And she says, hand me your phone. And she's like, who do I call? And I'm like, what? And she's like, who do I call? And I'm like, oh my gosh, where's Hunter? I'm like, Hunter was home. Where's Hunter? And she's like, I'm like, Hunter can't be alone. He can't do this. You got to call his friend. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, you got to call my mom. You got to call Chris's family. Like, and she's like, give me names. And she just called each one. Just calm as can be, guiding them. This is what you got to do. I have Brandy, and her husband could not drive fast enough. I think he's going 90, 100, 110. And I'm like, why aren't you driving fast enough? We couldn't get there fast enough. And so we get to the point of the mountain and Chris calls. And he's like, Brandy, I'm on the chopper. And I was like, what? And he's like, I made it. And I was like, and he goes, Brandy, right before they intubated him, he opened his eyes and he looked at me. And I was so happy and I was so mad. Like, Dad got it and Dad got to go, and I just was like, what? What ended up happening was they had to go so fast that they didn't have a co-pilot. So Chris was able to sit where the co-pilot would have sat. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to go. Anyway, so he makes it to primary children's. Before us, we get a phone call and they say, come through this entrance, run past everything. My name is Jennifer. I'll be waiting for you. I'm with Chris. He's here. And so we get there and we run through the ambulance doors and there's just all these people and they're just lined up and they're just pointing and they are just so sad. And I just run and I get to Chris and I just fall in his arms and Jennifer's there. And she's a social worker up there. And I would say of anybody up there that I needed, it was her. She's incredible, incredible person. And so he's in trauma. He's in the trauma room and they're just assessing him and we're just standing in the hall and there's just doctors and nurses running. And in and out, in and out. And I'm like, Jennifer, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And she goes in and gets information and comes out and tells us a couple things. He's still stable. He's intubated. He's still stable. Heart rate's good. Blood pressure's good. They're just deciding what they got to do next. Like, what's priority? She says they're going to take him to CT, and this is what you do. He's on a gurney. You get on that gurney, and you ride with him to CT. You touch him, you kiss him, you tell him everything you want to tell him until you get to that CT door. You get off the chair, we wait, goes into CT. He's in there for a long time. Nurses are running back and forth, and she's like, don't freak out. They need more pads for bleeding. Doesn't mean he's bleeding out. They need a bucket. It's not to catch blood. It's to throw sponges in, because she knows exactly what is going through my brain and she's on it. She's like, that is not that. I know what you're thinking. And she's this amazing person. And she says they're ready. He's going to come out, jump on that gurney. You kiss him, you hug him, you love him, you tell him everything, all the way back to trauma room. And jump off the gurney, goes back into trauma room, and she says, okay, they're gonna tell us all of everything that's wrong. And I just said, stop. I can't do this. I will not retain one thing. I says, I need my sister. I said, I need you to go to the waiting room and get my sister. And so they went and got Amanda. And she came out and I was like, okay. And I'm like, Amanda, this is the start of where I need you. And so his injuries are just too hard for me. So I'm going to let you tell.
Well, I feel like at that point, they were in the trauma bay and things were going a million miles an hour. And we were just outside of the door. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of communication because they were still trying to figure out what was wrong. But so my husband's in law enforcement.
How did you get the news, Amanda?
So my mom sent out a text to all of the siblings letting us know that Riley's been life flighted to primaries. And so I'm like, what? He got in an accident. So my husband's in law enforcement. So I pull up his phone because I can see all the calls. And I saw the one, the motorcycle wreck that's in Salem. So I was reading it, and it has all the notes that police officers put in it and dispatch, and it's like word for like minute by minute updates. And I saw it said, vehicle versus motorcycle, motorcyclist is breathing, and then I keep reading, and it said right arm amputation, and I'm just like, what in the hell? So I tell Scott, and he's like, oh my gosh, we gotta go. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know what to do. Like, okay. And so we get in his police car, And we hurried, we lived just a couple blocks away from them. So we rushed down to the site, and of course they're gone, but the police officers are still there cleaning it up. Scott runs out there and is like, how long have they been gone? Where are they going? And how bad is it? And they were like, it's bad. Like his right arm is gone. And so we're like, oh my gosh. So anyway, we pick up my sister, and we just go so fast up there, driving code. I don't even know if he could do that or not, but we did. And we get there. So in my mind, I'm already like, oh my gosh, his arm's gone. I don't even know if Brandy knows that. Like, I don't know. I called my mom, and she's like, what? An amputee? Like, it was just so much that it was just crazy. So when I got back there with them, I was already expecting it to be really bad. And so there wasn't a whole lot of communication at that point, just because they were still trying to figure it out. People were running in and out.
Did the amputee? Because I'm just thinking like when they rushed Blue to the hospital and they couldn't tell me like what condition really. I'm just trying to think like if them saying amputee, did that made you think probably not death? Like, was that worst case scenario in your guys' mind? Like,
Yeah.
oh, like that's so awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys at this point aren't necessarily thinking he's dead
No.
yet.
No.
No.
Okay.
No. And of course, in my head, I'm like, he can't. Like, he cannot lose his right arm. Like, he fishes and he rides motorcycles and like, so. And I'm like, it's Riley. Like, Riley is like special. Like, it can't be Riley. And so it's just it's so many like feelings that thoughts.
It's you've actually read this story 1,000 times, but it's never been your
Yeah.
family.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now it's your family.
Right.
And now
Yep.
it's different.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
much different. So anyway, I ended up leaving, but do you want me to tell you everything that was happened? So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, like the way we see it, this is your podcast. Like we want you and your family to have this 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, oh, you want to hear about your uncle or your brother? Like, here it is. So
Yeah.
whatever you guys want to share, I think you should totally spend time talking about it.
So overall, everything that ended up happening medically with him. So his right arm was not tore off, but it was barely hanging. It had cut all the way through the humerus and was barely hanging on. His left hand, all the tendons were ripped, lacerated.
So what that means was you could look at his arm and it was only hanging on by the hand side.
Cool.
It had severed all the way through.
Yeah.
And this arm had severed through above the elbow and was hanging on by tendons.
Yeah. So those were the major ones.
So he's going to lose both arms.
Possibly.
Yeah. So at this point, it's like left hand, right, full arm. And of course, that's their major concern. It's bleeding. They have tourniquets on it, but does he have filling? It's getting the veins and vascular all put back together. So it's like that's their major concern. They did scan his whole body, but they weren't even, for how severe everything was, they weren't even looking at anything below the waist. They knew it was broke. Everything was broke. His pelvis was broke. But that's something we can get to. It's not emergent.
Yeah.
So everything, he had a brain bleed, so they were watching that. His spleen, his liver, and his kidney, his only kidney, were all lacerated, so they were bleeding. So it was just a whole lot of medical on the top half.
His carotid artery was blocked.
Yeah,
On this side.
yeah.
3 broken ribs.
But luckily, nothing
2 breaks
with the
in his
spine.
pelvis. Nothing, and the brain bleed wasn't even that bad.
Yeah,
So that was miraculous.
yeah.
His legs were broke. Both femurs at the knee.
The pelvis was...
Yeah, the ulna and the radius.
No, that's
No,
the arm.
that's the arm.
Tibia.
Fibia. So he was broke. So what had happened was the car was turning left. It was green light. The sun was shining so bright in this guy's eyes. But by the time Riley had come to the intersection, the car had already stopped where it was supposed to, right? Turned green. He couldn't see, so we waited. He pulled forward past the crosswalk. You know how you do when you pull forward waiting to turn left, right?
Yeah.
And he stopped. And by this time, Riley's about to the crosswalk. So in his mind, he's like, oh, the car's waiting for me. So he just,
Went for it.
yep, it's green light. It was Riley's right away. And the car never heard him, never saw him, turned right in front of him. Riley hit the front passenger side so hard the airbags went off. We think his tire hit the front. The whole right side of his body hit probably the frame of the car. And then his arm went through the windshield. And with the impact of him hitting and then bouncing back, it amputated it. Some witnesses said they saw him fly 10 feet in the air. I think some of the hardest things of this is one of Riley's friends was stopped at the stoplight going north. They were going east-west, and he stopped and he witnessed the whole entire thing. He's 18. He got out of his car. He ran. He called 911. Some passerbys came by. They pulled shoelaces, started doing tourniquets. Devastating. But when we got to primaries and started talking with them after the fact, they said that they actually wanted to know who did the tourniquets. Officer Bigler, he showed up. I don't know where he came from. I bet he was there in 30 seconds. He was on it. He helped these civilians, these kids. And Primary Children's was like, who did these tourniquets? Because they were excellent. They were like, not one thing went wrong. They did everything. That EMS crew, everybody, those firefighters, whoever helped with him, they did everything right. It was incredible. So now we're still at the hospital, and they're telling us all of these things. And all of a sudden they break through those doors and they are like, Mom, surgery now. You have 10 seconds. They dropped the rel. They said, get on that bed. They said, kiss him, hug him, love him. He's off to surgery. We don't know when you'll see him again. And I was like, it happened so fast. It was so fast. They moved us up. He was gone, moved us up to ICU floor. And then we waited. This started about 10:30 that night. And we waited and we prayed and we prayed and we cried and we begged and we went to the bathroom a trillion times and we couldn't eat and we couldn't sleep and we had family and we had friends and 6 a.m. came and they said he is out of surgery. You can come and see him. So me and Chris went. The doctor said we have reattached his left hand. He's got a plate and screws. His tendons were able to be reattached. He will be able to use his hand again. It will be a very long physical therapy recovery to be able to open and close his hand again. We got there and saw that, and it was hard. It was hard. His left arm had what is that? The pin.
Mm-hmm. His right arm.
His right arm. They had to attach it with an outer
exterior.
Yeah, with pins going in. Of course, this is all dressed, so we can't see a ton of it. And they said we were able to get blood flow, but we watch it because we don't know. We don't know how his arm's going to do. And me and Chris were in there. It had been about 20 minutes. We took our pictures. We loved on him. We talked to him. We kissed him. We did all the stuff. He was beautiful and perfect and so hurt. And I said to Chris, I said, his brother has to see him. Hunter's got to get in here. I says, I'm not leaving. I said, will you please trade out his brother for his brother? And so we went and got Hunter, and he got to see him and was there. And it hadn't even been, 10 minutes. And the doctor came in and was like, we're not getting urine. There's no urine coming out. And they couldn't get IV lines because of his arms. So they were able to get a PICC line in his chest, and then they had to do IV lines in his groin. This PICC line was going to be used for dialysis because they knew that his kidney was injured, and this was an access that they could do dialysis through. So they were trying to save this one. So everything was happening here, and no urine was coming out. They re-looked at the CT, and they're like, the urethra has a tear in it, and we have to go do surgery now. Yeah. So they were gone. I mean, we got 35 minutes, and he's back into surgery. They're like, okay, we're going to place stents. We have an option that we might have to open him up, but we're going to do stents instead and see how that works. I was like, great. Back to the waiting room. And all I could think about was my dream. I didn't dare tell Chris because I wanted him to have hope. And I knew the only person that I could really tell would probably be my mom and my sister. And I pulled him out in the hall, and I just said, you guys, I got to tell you this. And I tell him, and my mom's so positive and so great. And she's like, oh, no. He's doing so well. We're not even worried about him dying. Like, we're worried about limbs. Like, no, and I'm like, Mom, I don't know. And she's like, nope, positive. And in the back of my mind, I'm just like, I know what it was, but okay, positive, let's go, Anyway, hours, the doctor comes back in. He's like, stent went great. That's working well. Everything's good. He was actually doing so well in surgery, they decided to work on his arm again. I'm like, great. Things are great. I'm calling sister. I'm calling family. I'm like, hey, no, you don't have to come up. We got lots of surgeries ahead. He's doing so good. His blood pressure's great. Everything. So good. 3 hours. And they say, you can see him in about an hour. 3 hours later, where is my son? What is going on? I start pacing the halls. I go out there. Anybody who walks by, are you Riley's nurse? Riley's nurse. Where are you? Where's the social worker? Where's somebody? I'm like, nobody has any information. I'm like, where? I'm pacing this hall, and the doctor starts running, and I know she's the doctor. She runs up to me and she's like, Brandy, something is wrong. We need to open him. I need you to sign this paper. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, whatever. I put the paper up on the wall in the hallway and I sign it. She grabs it and she runs. And I'm like, what did I just sign? I don't even know what we're doing. She just said, he's crashing and this has to be done and you have to sign. And I'm like, great. What do you got to do? Turns out he was getting compartment syndrome in his stomach area, and they had to open him up to relieve it. And so they cut him from his sternum down to his pubic bone to open him up.
Damn, Riley's just getting, man. I'm so sorry.
So blood pressure stabilizes.
The hope. The dangerous
We're back.
game.
Yes.
We're back.
Oh, the torture of hope.
We're back.
Man. Yeah.
So then they come out. His arm keeps clotting, but it's doing good. capillaries are bursting in his fingers, but not in his arm. I think we can
This is
reattach
just
it.
a roller coaster.
This
It's
is a
up and
nightmare.
down, like,
Oh.
man.
And they're like, but the thing is he's clotting. He's clotted here in his carotid artery. If we give a clot buster, it can break it up, but the little brain bleed he has can make it worse. So it's like, we want to do this, but then it makes this. But then we can try this, but then
But
what
then
if it does this?
Yeah.
So lots of wait and see. And this whole waiting game is brutal and back and forth, and hours go by. I'm like, where's my boy? Me and Chris are beside ourselves. You know, we keep getting these doctors coming back. And the final straw of one of the doctors was, you guys, this is real. And you need to start thinking about wear amputation. Are you going to do his hand? Are you going to do below the elbow so he has a hook? Are you going to do above the elbow? The accident had ripped off his bicep, so he had no bicep anymore. So they're like, do you want a deformity? Do you want us to do it at the shoulder? And I'm like, no, he's 17. No, we're not doing this. And I just fought for it. And I just, please do anything. Like, how do you write? How do you have a job?
How do you make that decision as a parent? Like, oh man, like.
So they just said, you have to be prepared with a decision. And we'll talk you through it. But, and anyway, so hours later, me and Chris are beside ourselves. We're like, we got to go in. So we just went into the ICU. We just walked in our trauma room, and he never went to a room. His room was a trauma room in the ICU right next to the nurse's station. And we walk in there, and the doctor said, he's becoming unstable. We will not move him again. If something goes wrong, this is his operating room. If we move him, a blood clot could loosen. It could kill him. It could go to his brain and kill him. He could seize. His arm now is not clotting, but it's bleeding. And we can't get it to stop bleeding, which we want it to bleed, but not this much. They're like, the suction from his belly, he's bleeding internally. Something's happening. And I just said, what's going on? And they said, have you ever sprained your ankle? And I said, yeah. And he says, initially you're in pain and it hurts. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, and you can start to see the bruising. And they says, what happens tonight and tomorrow? It swells, it bruises, it's bigger, it hurts more. And he's like, his body is doing that. Now that time is passing, everywhere there's trauma, capillaries are breaking, blood vessels are breaking, bruising, swelling. This is what's happening. We have to get through the next 24 hours till things start to calm back down. And I was like, okay, but he's okay. And they're like, it's serious, but he's alive, but we can't move him. I was like, okay. So I'm in there with him about 5 minutes, and these girls come in and bring these boards in. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, well, we've never x-rayed his pelvis and his legs. So we're going to start x-raying. And everything in my brain said no. The doctors just told us no more. And to get the board underneath him, they have to slightly tilt him. So they did the right side. So they put me out in the hall just at his door. And they slightly tilt him, put the board under, take the x-rays on his right side. They go to his left side, and everything in me wanted to scream, no. Don't touch him. We're not supposed to move him. You just lifted him. And they lifted him enough because they had to get under his pelvis, and I saw them tilt him up just a little bit more. They laid him back down, and he coded. And code blue.
Which means someone's dying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my brain, I'm already a million miles an hour. I'm already haven't slept. I'm all the things. And they back us out of the room. And you know how big the doors are to the rooms. It's like there's not even a door. And they back us up and we can see everything and just rush. Doctor, 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 nurse. And I text her. She's out in the waiting room. I'm like, what's code blue? I know what it is, but I'm like, what is code blue? And she's like, oh, someone's crashing. Like their heart stopped. And she's like, I'm so sad. Like, who's coding?
Right, because at that point, she's texting me, "What's a code blue?" Figuring she knows what that is. Figuring it, obviously it's not right because it's not that
'Cause he's
big
stable.
of a deal, and she's texting me it. So I'm
He's
like,
fine.
yeah. So in my head, I'm like, I wrote you, and I was like, oh, what is there? Somebody next to Riley in a different room coding or something? And she texts back, "It's Riley," and my heart sunk because like I know this world, and so I knew that was the second I knew like he wasn't gonna make it. So I call you because I'm like, holy crap, it's Riley. And yeah, we were just talking and
So I just put her on speaker.
yeah.
I'm like, please, can my sister be here? And they're like, nope, only two. I'm like, so she's on speaker this whole time. And she's like, ask him what his blood pressure is. Ask him what his CO2 is. Ask him what, I mean, she just knows all of it. And so I'm like, what's this? What's this? What's it dropping to? Now what? Now what? All the while, I watch this guy. And he gets up on the bed and he starts CPR. And I just watch him pumping his chest. And I'm CPR certified. I have to be for work. And I know that if you don't break ribs, you're not doing it right. And I'm just watching him just pump. And I'm listening and no pulse, no pulse. Push the epi. No pulse. Compressions, compressions. And my sweet Jennifer is like, let's go to the waiting room. And I'm like, I'm not leaving him. And she's like, please come with me. And I'm like, I'm not leaving him. And she's like, you're going to see and hear things that you can't take back. And I was like, I don't care. I'm not leaving him. She's like, you got to step back a little bit more because more doctors are coming in. And I wish I would have got a picture of it because it was like, between doctors and nurses, it was like 30 plus. Outside the room, inside the room. Just see him pumping his chest. And I'm like, they're breaking him. And finally I hear, we got him back. He's back. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And the doctors come out and they're like, or Jennifer comes out and she's like, he's back, but he's bleeding. And he's just losing so much blood and his blood pressure's dropping. And she's on the phone and she's like, what's happening? What's going on? And I'm like, Mandy's back. They got him back. These are his numbers. This is his stats. This is, she's like, and I just like, I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I backed up around this like bend of the corner and I just begged with my whole soul. Like, I was like, if I could make a deal with the devil, I'd do it right now. If I could trade him places, if I could.
The bargaining.
I'd do anything. I'm like, please. I'm like, I believe in a God that gives miracles.
Where's my miracle?
And this is my baby. And you're not taking him. Like, please don't take him. Like, and I got this little piece And I was like, oh my gosh, is he okay? And I look up and I look over and I see 5 or 6 head doctors. And it hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's gone. Like, I know that little bit of peace that I got was Riley just being like, Mom, it's okay. And I had to go. And I looked at them and they said, we got him back. What was his heart? What was his oxygen? I mean, it was so low.
So yeah, he was intubated. They
So
were
low.
tapped out on oxygen, and he was still only 30% maintaining. His blood pressure was 60/40, barely maintaining. And they've tried everything.
They said, we've given him his blood volume. We've replenished it 3 times. He's bleeding out faster than we can put it in. And they said at any second he's going to code again. And we need to know what you want to do because we can do CPR. But he's not going to make it.
Like, this is going to be the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to keep doing this every...
Yeah. They're like, he's not. And so you need to make a choice. We will do whatever you wish. Are we doing CPR in the next few minutes? Or are you going to go and get your family and be with him and tell him goodbye? And I looked at them and I just said, don't hurt him one more second. I said, leave him alone. And I just fell into Chris's lap and I just wondered where God was. I just wondered why this was. I don't know if. I know there's a lot of moms out there who are like, I would do anything for my child. There's a lot of dads too, but a mom's love and a mom's connection and everything, every fiber, my whole soul, every pore I have just begged and pleaded to keep him here. Just, how is a mother's love not enough? You know, like how? So we just went in his room and they turned off the monitors and honestly, he just went on his own. We didn't have to turn anything off. All we did was turn the sound off. And they let us be with him. And he just went on his own. There was no life support. We didn't make a choice. I feel like that moment when I felt that little bit of peace, it was Riley choosing. I truly felt like he saw his life and what it would be like. And he saw a bit of heaven and the goodness he could do there. And he was like, I'm out. I truly thought at the hospital many times. I said to Chris, I'm like, if he makes it through this in about a year's time with everything he has to do, I don't know how he'll survive it. Like, I truly feel like we would have an 18-year-old that killed himself.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be so brutal, the recovery.
I just want to give you a hug, honestly. And, like, there's nothing I can... One thing about losing a kid is, there's nothing you can do to fix it. Like, I wish there was, but
Yeah.
it's just losing a kid's the worst, I think. I think, like, the guilt and the shame, too. Like, the amount of time you went into explaining, like, how good of a rider he was and how long you guys have been dirt biking. Like, I think everyone knows you're a good mom. I don't think you need to do that much. Like, but I get it. And I do the same thing. Like, they had seatbelts on. they're in the car seats.
Yeah.
Like, because part of you just feels so bad and so awful. And well, yeah, I think it's like, I do want to tell you, it's not your fault. And my kid's still gonna ride a dirt bike.
Yeah.
And that, I hope that doesn't offend you, but
No.
I mean, that's life. Like, dirt bikes are scary and they're awfully dangerous, like you just said. But man, I don't want to get in a tangent about live life to the fullest before you're dead type of thing, but that is kind of what I'm saying. Like, and I think from the cancer, from 5.5 to when he was 17, I think like almost, I think what you went through with the cancer gave you the gift of him living life to the fullest till he died. Like, at least I think that's a cool part of all this terrible story is.
Yeah. Well,
Because I don't think he has a lot of regrets. I mean, you read that
No.
obituary and he's
No.
doing everything.
Well, and
But,
our
yeah.
family doesn't either. Like, that is the one thing I was able to say at his funeral was, we don't have our sorries to say. Like, there is nothing that him and his brother need to resolve. There's nothing that we wished we could have done, should have
Yeah.
done, would have said. There were no sorries to be had. There was no I wish. There's only more time. We wish we had more time. We wish he was here. Like those.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like we were in a fight or an argument and we didn't get to resolve it. It wasn't like we haven't spoken. It wasn't, the boys weren't friends and hated each other. Why weren't they? Like, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it was, our connection was so strong and so incredible that there was no regrets.
And even, and I want to add, like, what's the contact relationship, or maybe it's zero, but the person who was driving, has there been any, is that something you can't even talk about yet, or?
I heard from an officer and a friend, someone that we met, that they know him, and he reached out to them and asked if we were ready to meet him. At the time, we were still pretty thick in it. I don't want to meet him until I'm my best self, because, and maybe he'll hear this, because what I want to say to him is, I'm sorry that you have to live life like this. Like, I can't imagine walking away from that and saying I killed somebody. Like, I hurt for him. And I would give him the biggest hug and just say, I'm sorry for you. Like, you did not kill my son. Life did. I would just say, like, please live. Please don't just be in a hole. Please don't stop driving. Please don't kill yourself. Like, please don't go that way. Like,
Yeah. I think if he heard it from you guys, though, like, I think that would be,
yeah.
but like for you, I mean, it's just like, because it's not like, it's not okay, and like, you want to be on your son's side,
Yeah.
and you want to defend all of it. And like, I was reading, I live in St. George, and I read this story about this little girl driving or maybe it's a boy, but a little kid driving a go-kart, like a golf cart, hit and killed another kid in St. George, Utah. And like what do you what do you think of that type of story? Like, because like my heart breaks for both of those people, and I think that story is different than yours. But like from my perspective, my heart absolutely breaks for you. Like, I think losing a kid's the worst. But I'd be lying to you. Like, I do have thoughts about that guy in the story, or person, whoever it is in the story too. And like, yeah. And I wanted to ask you if where you're at with that. because you're only 9 months removed. When I was 9 months from my thing, I didn't even have any thoughts about that at all. I was still just in, like, don't die, like, don't kill yourself today mode.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way as you do. Like, and I don't know all the details of it, but the person who hit my family, it's the same thing. Like, it was just an accident. I don't have any quarrels with you.
Yeah.
But, like, I do believe every story is an opportunity.
I feel like,
And I think you have an opportunity to help that person.
well,
But
he also
you
has
have
to
every
help
reason to
himself
hate
too.
him. You have every reason to
Yeah.
hate him is what I also
True.
want to say. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
We do.
See, this is why it's so hard to talk about this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard because I don't want to offend you. I hope I'm not offending you.
No, you're not
but,
at
like,
all. Mm-mm.
yeah, like that. If I hit a kid like that on dirt bike, I think my life would be over.
He already hates himself enough.
Yeah, that would be
don't
me.
need- and I don't want to hate him. I've never hated him.
Yeah.
Never. I will say that he has to fight for himself too, though. He has to make choices for himself, like what we were talking about in the beginning. I chose, and I said, Hunter matters too. And so I got up every day. And I changed my clothes every day. And at that time, I knew about 11:30 noon, both Hunter and Chris would come home from work for lunch. And it didn't matter what I was. It didn't matter what a disaster I was. Even if I got out of bed at 11:23, I got out of bed and I changed my clothes. And they would walk through the door and I would say, "Hey guys, what's up?" And then they would leave, and whether I went back to bed, it didn't matter. But when they got home at 4:30, I was up. It was as if I had just spent the whole day just chilling, watching TV. I was like, Hunter matters, and he has got to see his mom functioning. And that doesn't mean I didn't cry in front of him. That doesn't mean I wasn't a disaster. That doesn't mean the house was clean. Like, none of that. It just means that I showed up for my son and my husband, because they matter.
Yeah.
And within a few days, I was like, you know what? I feel better when I put my makeup on. So then I started getting up, even if I changed out of my jammies into other jammies, I changed. And then I would put on my makeup. And it didn't matter if I bawled the whole day through my makeup. I tried.
Yeah, the reason I'm smiling is because I just remember, like, that felt like you did something. Like, I got out of bed and changed clothes today. Like, that just feels like, oh, yeah. Like, I remember that stage. But, oh, hold on. Can I back up a little bit?
Yes, go. Yes.
So we were talking about how, like, he died riding a dirt bike, and I know it was awful, but, like, he loved it.
Loved it.
And we were talking
Yeah.
about how he lived life to the fullest
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And I was going to mention, like, he was riding a dirt bike. Like, that's cool. But then my mind went to the guy hitting him. I'm like, oh. And so then I asked you about that, and it kind of got derailed. But, like, yeah, I think there's... It's a terrible story, but if you really look hard with a magnifying glass, you can find some beautiful parts in the awfulness.
So dirt bikes, I thought they would stir some stuff up in me, but they don't.
Like PTSD wise.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that
They
is
don't.
interesting. Well, I guess you weren't. I mean, yeah, you weren't. Maybe if you saw it or something, but
ambulance.
maybe phone calls though or something.
And the ambulance, people stopping by, helicopters, sirens, those will set me off.
Yeah, those did
severely.
Those did too for maybe like a year. Mushrooms helped me with that though. You should do mushrooms.
Bless my heart.
You'll see lots of angels on mushrooms. They're everywhere.
Oh my God.
Let's maybe.
So I chose. People would say, "Are you going to take away Hunter's dirt bike?" And I'm like, absolutely not. Do you know where most of our memories came from? Do you know the best times of our lives? So,
well, like my family died in a car Crap, I can't drive cars anymore? No one
Right.
can drive cars now?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So about 5 months, Amanda and her husband, they drive Harleys. They ride Harleys. And they said, "Do you want to go for a ride?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I hop on the back of her husband and we're just cruising. And I'm feeling like, so what I heard was Riley was like switching into from second to third gear when he hit. He was speeding, but he had just barely like put it into gear, like in like go mode.
Yeah.
So no, he was not going 60 miles an hour like everyone thinks. But I'm on the bike with Scott, and he's just switching gears, and we're just riding, and I just can't keep tears. And a couple times I just like, I could just feel that wind, and I just threw my arms up in the air. Like I was just free. Like, and all I could think about was Ray. And he's like, "Mom," I was like free. I was headed to the mountains, my favorite place. Like I was just cruising. I had no worries. I had no thoughts. It was just me and my bike, and we were just on it, And I was like, for the first time, I felt what he felt, and I was okay. And I was like, I don't ever want to take this away from anybody. This is freedom. This is like the most peaceful place, riding on the back of this bike. Yeah. That was incredible. I will say that with my shock, though, it was about the 4-month mark, and I had a friend text me. She's like, "Hey, can I come over?" I'm like, "No." She's like, she's like, "No, I'm going to come over." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing too good. I'm just going to take a nap." And I thought for sure that she'd be fine. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not going to see her." In walks Katie.
Great friend. This is a great friend.
Here she comes.
Because this is what everyone in grief wants. Like, we want to say no to you, and then you show up anyway. Like, that's really what we want.
I know.
Honestly.
I know.
Yeah,
And she
I know.
walks and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm just staring. And she's like, "What you doing?" It's like 2:30. I'm like,
Trying not to kill myself.
exactly.
Yeah,
No,
like,
for real.
Trying to
Yeah.
think of ways to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look at her and I'm a glorified mess. And she's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Riley's dead." And she's like, "Mm-hmm." And I'm like, "My son is dead." She's like, "I know." And she's like, "We're in, September, October, November, December. We're in January." And she's like, "What do you need?" And I'm like total real. That was the first day I realized that he was dead. 4 months.
Saying
And
it
I'm
out
just
loud.
saying it out loud, bawling my eyes out, hysterical, can't breathe, on the floor, can't stand up, can't move. And I'm like, my son is dead. And I will never see him again. And I will never hold him again. And I will never hear his voice again. And he will never walk through that door again. And I mean, all the things. And she is sitting there probably like, "Oh my gosh."
No, she's probably sitting there like, "This is great. Like, this is what she means." Like, finally, like.
Honestly, without her that day, I don't know.
Yeah, I have some moments like that with some family and friends that have shown up for me too. We have another podcast at 12:30. I hate to do this to you, but that's in 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I know. We might have to do a part 2, which I'm fine with. Anything else you want to say before we get to movies and we try to wrap this up, though?
Yeah, I want to say this. We didn't even talk about anything hard. We didn't talk about
I know.
grief.
We might have to do part 2.
We could do part 2. That's why I wanted to come on here, is because I want to tell people how to survive. I want to tell people that you do it. You're a survivor.
So do you want to withhold the top 3 and just keep this episode, and then we'll have you back for
Yeah.
round 2.
Yeah.
And we'll save the movies.
Because we need to talk about Riley's 6 months.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all for it. Like,
And my other son got in a dirt bike accident.
yeah, I remember you texting me that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have many things to get to.
Yeah.
Should we let is Amanda going to join us next time, or should we let her do her favorite movies?
You do your favorite
Okay.
movies.
And then, just in case, you're welcome back next time too.
Well, thank
but
you.
if not, at least we got your favorite movie.
Look, I don't watch a lot of movies, but I do love Bridesmaids.
Oh yeah.
Like, that is one I just laugh my ass off.
No.
Oh my gosh, it's the funniest.
Yeah. That is a good one.
Okay.
My wife Courtney loved that movie.
Okay.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, the skinny, short, blonde haired
Yes.
chick. That cracks her up. And then, yeah, I need to watch that one again.
Yeah.
Okay, and then no spoilers from you. We'll keep your movie list for
Okay.
the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought 2 hours would be. I'm sorry, but we have
You're
another
good.
person coming in. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to. It was a great conversation, so I didn't know how to stop it.
Yeah, you're totally fine.
Okay, so we'll just end this. Good luck trying to end this part,
Yeah.
Ryan. And then we'll start
Maybe we
part
wait.
2.
Record part 2.
Yeah, I think so.
that
And then we'll
before
upload both.
release both.